Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at a second example for section 3.4. We want to do an example for using a truth table to determine if an argument is valid or invalid. So our example reads, if I go to the store, then I buy groceries. I did not go to the store, therefore I did not buy groceries. So we want to begin by breaking this example up into premise 1, premise 2, and a conclusion. Remember that your first sentence is going to be premise 1. So I'm just going to type that there. Our second sentence will be premise 2. So I did not go to the store. And our final sentence will be our conclusion. I did not buy groceries. Once we do that, then the next thing that we want to do is we want to label our two events P and Q. So typically we're going to come to our first premise and get our P and our Q from there. All right, so the first thing that is mentioned is going to the store. So I'm going to let that be P. The second thing that's mentioned is buying groceries. So I'm going to say I buy groceries for Q. Now we want to take those two P and Q values and come back to our premise 1, 2, and the conclusion and rewrite them using those symbols. So premise 1 is an if-then statement. So I know that I'm going to have that arrow in the middle. The first part says I go to the store. So that's the P. The second part is I buy groceries. So that's the Q. So that statement can be written P, arrow, Q. For premise 2, it says that I did not go to the store. So that is going to be the negation of P. All right, so I don't know if I have the tilde symbol. So for right now, I'm just going to write not P. And we'll go back and fix that in a minute. All right, and then the conclusion says I did not buy groceries. Q is I buy groceries, so we want not Q here, or the negation of Q. Okay, so remember how we do this when we put everything together. We're going to take premise 1 and premise 2. We're going to put them together with the and symbol in between. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and show you what this is going to look like. So here is premise 1, P, arrow, Q. We've got the and symbol in between, and then we have the not P. All right, so I'm just going to come back up here and fix that just so it is like it's supposed to be. And then this not Q. Okay. All right, so we have premise 1 and then the and symbol and premise 2. And then remember that you have the double arrow implying the conclusion. So double arrow implies the not Q. And so that is what we're going to do our truth table on. All right, so the truth table is kind of already set up for us. We have the standard P column and the standard Q column. We know that we need to build this entire left-hand side. So in order to do that, we're going to start inside the parenthesis and we'll do a column for P, arrow, Q, which is what we have right here. We'll do another column for the negation of P, which is what we have here. And then we'll put those two together with the and symbol, which is what we have here. Then we'll move to the right side. The right side only requires that we do the negation of Q. So we've got that column here. And then the final column is the entire expression. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this filled in and decide if it's valid or not. All right, so for P arrow Q, I'm going to first copy my P's down. So T, T, F, F. I'm going to put my arrow in the middle. And then I'm going to copy my Q's. So I'm going to just be copying this Q column right here over here. So T, F, T, F. Okay, and now we need to go to our handout and we need to look up these answers if we don't already know them. So this is the if then on the handout, and you can find the following answers. So if T, then T, that's going to be true. T implying false, that is going to be false. And the other two will be true. The next column is the negation of P. So we're going to look back at P here and we're going to do exactly the opposite. So we'll have F, F, T, T. Okay, so now let's put those two columns together with the and symbol in the middle. All right, so I'm going to begin by doing the parenthesis part, P arrow Q. So I'm going to get the answers from this column. So that's going to be T, F, T, T. We'll put my symbol in the middle. And then I'm going to get the not P. So I'm going to copy these not P's over. So F, F, T, T. And we'll use our sheet to come up with our answers there. So these are the and statements. So we know that they both have to be true in order to be true. So this first one's going to be false, false, true, true. All right, let's do the negation of Q, which is the opposite of this column. So that will be false, true, false, true. And then let's work at putting them together. So I'm going to copy first. I'm going to do that, which will be what we just came up with the answers for over here. So F, F, T, T. I'm going to put my arrow in between. Then I'm going to get the negation of Q, which will be this column, and I'm just going to copy those over. So FT, FT. And again, go to your handout, look under the if then, and copy your answers. So we would have true, true, false, true. Now, the question is asking you, is this a valid argument or an invalid argument? So remember that the only way that your argument is valid is if it's true in every scenario. So because we have this false, this makes it an invalid argument.